Take a look at race number 9 now. It's over the 1,650 metres, and we've got Gallant Waking coming back to Happy Valley, a track that he knows well. Zone D's a two-time course and distance winner. Comet Splendido from the 1,800 to the 1,600. Nimble Nimbus races well course and distance. Atomic Beauty first look at Happy Valley and wears cheek pieces for the first time. Loyal Baby goes up £10 for that big win last start. Master Tornado ran third at his first try at the distance. Beauty Turn comes to Happy Valley for the first time. N steps up in trip, and Star Contact was a winner over the 1,650 Nick in Class 4 on the 18th of January, and the first time we've seen him since that race. The speed for this down to the 1,650 and a round to go.
It is indeed. Look, possibly good to slow here. There's a great deal of early speed on show. Master Tornado, Master Tornado, I should say. He could well go forward from gate number 5. He did last time, so expect him to be prominent. Look, Nimble Nimbus, I don't think will be too far away. He did travel prominently last time in the race won by Sword Point, so they might try and be a bit more positive with him. Atomic Beauty and Comet Splendido too, that have also shown a little bit of pace, but Atomic Beauty there, Paul, he's drawn wide, so he might just try and press forward and come across early.
Yeah, I thought that might be the case with Master Tornado, who once he stepped up to the 1,650, he led. Happy Daily will have to go back. Gift of Lifeline generally goes back, and Gallant Waking as well. So I think those three will be towards the rear. Zone D back towards them as well.
What about this horse, Paul? Loyal Baby. He pushed on when wide last week, but he does have an extra £10. Do you think they might be more cautious?
Yeah, I just thought they might try and take cover because you're right, he did push on last time. With Atomic Beauty, with the apprentice on, I thought he might try and sneak in behind him.
All right, so that's a look at the speed map, but we've got an interview to start this part of the program. Nimble Nimbus is the horse, and his rider is Hugh Bowman.
Hugh, Nimble Nimbus is a horse that you're going to ride on Wednesday night. It'll be the first time you've ridden him, but you have ridden him in a trial. Talk me through that.
His trial was really good. Happy Valley was over the 1,700 and he found a nice position, settled just in behind, but he breezed up the straight in really good order and through the line was strong. So he's a horse that could really figure in the finish here. It's barrier 10's not ideal. I would have loved to have drawn soft with him, but it is what it is. So we'll just try and, if we can just find a nice position without spending too much energy in the early stages, he'll be certainly make his presence felt at the end.
And I imagine, as you say, on that trial, visually, it looked very impressive. Did it feel as if this horse is ready and right to go and just, yeah,
it certainly did. He was a bit on the bridle in the early stages, but then he, with a bit of cover, he got into a really smooth rhythm and came around the corner, and I showed him a bit of clear air, and he towed me through the line. So I think he can extend off that, and it's all going to be about getting a nice position from an awkward draw.
You'd be probably the best man to ask about the form. He was beaten by Sword Point last time out, so I know that's Chartin form, but coming back to Happy Valley, that certainly stands head and shoulders above.
I think so. I think it's look, his form's good, and he's obviously a nice horse. It was clear in the trial, and Sword Point's come out, and I actually team up with him in the Champions Cup next week. So that form should stand up, you would think, and for this race in particular. But it's just about getting a smooth run in transit, really. If you can get that, he should win. But if he doesn't, he will have to work for it.
He will indeed. He does look a strong chance. Away from him, obviously you mentioned Sword Point. You will team up with him in the Classic Cup. Have you had a chance to sit on him recently? How's he doing?
I did actually sit on him this morning, and he just went an easy half mile on the dirt on his own. He feels great. He looks in great order. So I'm excited about reuniting with him. And, he's on a Derby campaign, and I think he can. I think he can figure next week in the Classic Cup. I think he's the right sort of horse for it. Back up to the 1800s a tick, and looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, we've seen the entries recently for both races. Looks an exciting couple of legs still to come in the series.
Certainly does. It's Beauty Eternal certainly opens things up from a Derby perspective. We won't see him in the Champions Cup, but it's certainly starting to piece together nicely the race.
Classic Cup coming up on the 26th of the month. We head back to Happy Valley for our first replay, Nick, and this is a horse you've always had some time for. Gallant Waking is his name. He's been over at Shah 10 racing in some stronger fields, but has a great record around the city circuit.
He does, doesn't he? 7 runs, 3 wins, 2 seconds and 1/3, only once outside of the top 4, this guy. And he's had terrible draws. He's had 12, 11, 13, 13 in his last 4. So he's been doing it really tough. Gets barrier 8 here, and Zach Purton riding in for the first time here, Paul. He's 3 winners from 13 for Francis Loy, so I think he's well suited here.
Yeah, definitely. And he's up to the 1650. He's only run once over the 1650, and he ran a placing. So I think 1650. I mean, he's been looking at the classic 4-year-old series, isn't he? So it looks ideal for him.
What about Zach's rides, Paul? The first, at least 4 of them, no luck with the barrier draws, 12 or 11.
Yeah, he probably closed his eyes when he saw those ones, and 12 and 11 in the first 4. But look, Tronic Mighty gets back anyway, 18 Palms and Rattan Kingdom, which are 2 of his main chances. They've got really good draws.
They have, yeah, and I'm sure he'll be amongst the winners with that nice book of rides.
Solid Impact and Gallant Waking races 8 and 9. We move on now, Paul, to Loyal Baby. He did a lot of work this night and kept going, which was a surprise because Loyal Baby has been a little bit of a professional place getter. And Comet Splendido is not going quite as sharp as what he was, say, 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, look, he's going to have to work a bit, I thought, to get across Comet Splendido. Loyal Baby, a little bit of an awkward draw, barrier 7. He might try and get some cover midfield. He had a tough run last time and kept going, and maybe try and go on with it, because there isn't as much pace in this race, but I'm sure he'll try and get cover early, and he just held on, didn't he?
Yeah, won that off £5 lower, but does, as Mark touched upon, carry £10 more in this race, so it will be tough.
Here is Jumbo Legend, Nick. This was his first try of the 1650 and all but won the race, but Rising from Ashes, who ended up being victorious, that's him there, not in the field this week, was able to get through the centre and beat him. Master Tornado, as we saw on the speed map, possibly is going to get a really good run. Zone D races well at the trip, and a Happy Daily is wider out. He's following Jumbo Legend as we roll the replay.
Yeah, look, super run this from Jumbo Legend. Now, look, the winner in the yellow and pink, you could argue, has probably got first run. He's saved a bit more ground, whereas Jumbo Legend's had to come around runners. But he's closed off really strongly. He was a beaten favourite, yes, but Vincent Ho, most successful rider at Happy Valley this season, Paul, with 31 winners. So
yeah,
it's worth keeping on side.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely goes in. And also, I'm going to put Master Tornado in, because that was his first start at 1650, and there was a big improvement for him.
All right, so good report for a couple of those horses there. We head back to the Valley now, Paul, but down in grade. This is the win by Star Contact. It was a funny run race 2 starts ago where Sunny Delight took off mid-race and he got run over by Perfect Great. Well, he bounced right back here and never looked like getting beaten.
I thought it was a strong win, this, and the horse he bet, Flying Silver, has come out and won again since, so he's really franking that form. And in fact, Flying Silver's, this is the only time he's been beaten in his last 4 starts, so it was a strong win from Star Contact, and he won with plenty in hand, so I'm going to include him with the lightweight.
Yeah, look, I think he'll compete at this level. I'm not sure how far he'll go, but I think he's definitely a chance.
Karis Teaton takes over from Zach, who's riding Gallant Waking. Selections, Paul.
Yeah, Gallant Waking coming back to Happy Valley, 1650, looks good at this start of his campaign, at this time of his campaign. Star Contact, Master Tornado and Jumbo Legend, we've talked about those 3. 1, 12, 10 and 8.
Yeah, I'm going with the 4 here in this race. I think he's a decent chance. Nimble Nimbus, quite like that try. In fact, liked it a lot, and I think he's good enough to win this back at Happy Valley. Jumbo Legend in for second. Gallant Waking's a horse I've always been keen on. I think he can go well. And Star Contact down at the bottom will put him in for 4. 4, 8, 1 and 12.